Today we're going to have a look at how to expand quadratics, and we're going to do this by recapping how to multiply two basic numbers together. So I'm going to do this using the grid method or the box method, whatever you like to call it, and to do this you would normally partition the two numbers, so the 20 and the 4 you'd separate, and likewise for the 50 and the 3, and then you draw a grid. You'd pop your 20 and you pop your 4 along the top, and the 50 and the 3 along one of the sides, and I like to use the right hand side. Now you would then multiply this grid together to form these numbers, and I'm going through this very quickly because it's a skill that you should already know 100% fluently to access this video. And you would add those four numbers together to get the answer. So what we're going to do is take this concept and turn it into an expanding quadratics problem. So if we have a look at this one here, I want you to be always thinking and comparing this to about what you're about to see. So we know that in here there is a multiplication happening between these two brackets. Now this is a typical expanding question. You should see that this looks very, very similar, apart from obviously the numbers are now got some x's instead. Very similar to this problem here. Apart from there's no multiplication sign. Now good mathematicians, what we like to do is be a bit lazy with our multiplication. We hide it. It's the only sign that we can hide, in fact, and we do this by writing two things together. For example, a 4x means 4 times an x. We don't write the times, we just put them together. So where these brackets are touching, they are together, it actually means they are being multiplied. So just like we did here, when we were multiplying something that looks pretty much identical, we drew the grid. Let's do the same thing. My first partition, the 20, went here. So my x, I'm going to put here. The second partition on the same line, we'll do exactly the same thing. But notice now I've included what type of sign it is. So we know it's a positive 4, so I'm writing that, and that will help us later on. And exactly the same way I'll put these down here. Now I didn't include the signs before because these were all positive and there was no real need to, because we knew with numbers they have to be a positive answer in this type of question. But with this expansion it will always help you to include the signs. Now this is a little bit more complicated to fill in because there's no numbers, but x multiplied by an x is an x squared. X times a 4, a positive 4, is 4x, and x times a positive 3 gives us 3x, and a positive 4 multiplied by a positive 3 gives us 12. Now going back to this one again, we would normally add all these four numbers together, but this is far more difficult. Now looking at this, you need to think about what we call like terms. Are there any other x squareds? No, it's just this box, so we can't add anything or collect anything with this one. Are there any more x's? Yes, there's another 3 x's here. So what we can actually say, these are like each other, we can collect them to make 7x, giving us this answer. So if you're asked to expand, my advice, draw a grid, put the partitions down, fill in the grid, and then collect the like terms to find your answer. Let's have a look at another one. So remember, these are being multiplied. Set up the grid. So I'm going to bring the x down and the positive 5, remembering to include your signs, and this will show you now why it is important. This bit's exactly the same. X multiplied by an x, x squared. An x multiplied by a negative 2 gives us negative 2x. This one's far more simple. And here, a negative 2 multiplied by a negative 5. The signs are different. When we have different signs, our answer is always negative. Now if we were to collect these, we've got a 5x and a negative 2x. So 5x take away 2x would give me 3x. And there we have it. Let's have a look at one more. So here they're both negatives. This one's going to be a little bit trickier. Now I don't normally write this down, I'm just doing this so you realise that it's multiplication. So I'm going to set up my grid, do this a bit quicker. Now here, be careful, the signs, negative, positive, they're different, so my answer is negative, so that's minus 4x. Again, positive and negative, they're both different, so we're going to have a negative 8x. Now, negative 4 multiplied by a negative 8. Negative and a negative, they are the same sign, so they will have a positive answer. So 4 times 8 is 32. Collect the like terms. These two are the only like terms, and you have to be really careful. Negative 8x, take away another 4x, minus 12x. Now, feel free to pause this, rewind this as many times as you need to understand this skill. And in my next video, I'm going to show you how to become more fluent and do this without drawing the grid.